Hello everybody, I'm Don Counts and we're in Vantown and it's cotton picking time with the Ogles here, and we've got Juliana and Josh Ogle. Good to see y'all.
Good to see you, Don.
And got a lot of folks here, and there are some old-fashioned cotton picking.
Yes, there is. That's what we call it, cotton picking day.
All right, tell us what they're doing out there.
Well, we're just kind of throwing back to what we used to do back years ago. I know my dad grew up pulling bowls and picking cotton. Grandparents done it on this very field here, as a matter of fact, and for years and years. And my dad grew up on a cotton farm as well as us. So just kind of keeping that heritage, remembering what we used to do and things that used to go on. So
that's a really good thing. How long have you been doing this?
This is our fifth year. This is our fifth year. Yeah.
And what you're seeing in the background and what we've seen is people picking cotton, and plus you've got the new cotton picker, which we'll get to see, and that's technology's come a long way.
It really has. It's changed a lot over the last probably 5 to 7 years. There's been a lot of development. Things are moving forward still on that, but this the self-contained module unit has really been handy for us as far as cutting down on labor and cost and operating time as well.
How do you get the word out about this event with this many people around?
Just word of mouth. Folks have come for years. We send out letters and flyers a lot of times, just in many different ways. So.
One thing about cotton today is irrigation's helped y'all in the last few years.
It really has. Irrigation's come a long way. We've started back in the 90s with irrigation, and this field here actually a subsurface irrigation that we put in back in 2003, and we really like that. For the cotton, for a taproot crop, it does a really good job. Not as good on a fiber shoot system like corn, but on taproot it does real good.
All right, explain the two systems then. You got what's that now?
The taproot crop is where it's just got a long taproot, puts down the primary root, goes straight down, varies on how deep it goes according to the soil type, soil condition, how hard it's packed. And then a fiber root system is more like a grass or a corn. It doesn't go real deep. It spreads out on top of the ground, maybe 3 or 4 inches deep, and tries to anchor like that. So.
Good. Well, we're going to get to see a whole lot here from Vantown, and going to do a little cotton picking on this October day. It's a great day for it, and looking forward, and we'll talk to you a little later on.
Sounds great. Got enough room?
Good.
Pulling pretty hard there. All right, I'm gonna back up, make sure nobody's behind me.
Backup camera there.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that.
Yeah.
It's the only way to do it. No second guessing no more.
Yeah. Y'all pick 24 hours a day, or?
No, not most of the time. We try not to. Now, if we just had one machine and the weather was permitting, we would. Most time we'll pick around 12, 14 hours a day.
What we're looking at there?
This is the inside of the module chamber where it actually does all the packing and the work. And you'll see the cotton start blowing in here in just a second. We're looking toward the back, camera's in the front looking toward the back end of the machine. You see the augers turning, they'll move the cotton back toward the front of the machine, and then they'll change directions if need be. Keep it level. Once it gets so much in it, it'll start packing up and down.
What's happening out in front of us here?
Out in front, we've got 6-row machine. Each row goes in between each the limb lifters. We've got conventional style heads, which means it picks off both sides of the row. Each head does, and it'll pick off both sides and come out the back, and it'll be fairly clean.
Process of getting all the stalks and the leaves out.
Most of it, the leaves, we'll actually try to take those off with defoliation about 10 days to 2 weeks, somewhere in there prior to harvest, and then we'll that'll also put a bowl opener on it at that time that'll help open those bowls and make everything pop open a little quicker, speed that process up.
Looking at how we used to do it to how we're doing it today, we've come a long way, haven't we, John?
We have come a really long way, Don. I tell you, it's amazing how much everything has changed. So it will absolutely blow your mind. I know my granddaddy would have loved to have seen this.
We're actually on his farm. Do you remember him?
I do. He did pass away when I was 7 years old, but I do remember seeing him and seeing him in the cotton field when I was young. So kind of got that heritage to look back on. The first, I don't even think he ever got to see a 4-row cotton picker, much less the 6-row or the module style picker. So matter of fact, when he passed, I don't think we weren't even running module builders. We were still tromping it in wagons by hand, or by stomping on it, stomping it. So he missed out on a lot of this interesting stuff that's come along. So
how's cotton looking this year?
Cotton looks pretty good. Certain areas and soil types are better. The grayer ground right now seems to be producing more. It's normally not as good on cotton as some of the redder type soil, but still doing this year has actually been our best. Has been on some pretty rough looking gray ground. So
looking out the back, you can sort of see the cotton going in.
Yeah, it feeds through, like I said, into the back, like we was looking through with the camera a while ago, and bounces kind of off the back wall, and the augers will bring it back forward. And as they start to pack going up and down, they'll actually quit turning and they'll pack down, and when they come up, they'll start turning, moving cotton some more. So it's a pretty neat process.
is it building the bale back there? Like
It is. It is the older style. Well, we still use a lot of these module builders. A lot of folks do. They were actually. They actually still do get used. Like they were about 32 foot long. This one here is about 14 to 16 feet long, about 8 foot high and about 8 foot wide. So you can see kind of how things have changed and come about. So. This here is, of course, our spindles and our bars. The cotton actually come in. These will spin. If you're looking at them from the front, in a clockwise motion, they'll wrap up. They're sharp. Cotton will wrap up on here. It'll come back to this, what's called a dolpher's pad here, and it scrapes real lightly, scrapes the top of the bar here, or the top of the spindle, and pulls that cotton off, and then it's got a transfer fan that blows it up into the back. So, and that's kind of how the picking process works. Of course, the row feeds in here. You can see how it feeds through. These are ribs. That's just separating each one to keep trash from getting in and pulling stalks and stuff in. And there's 2 drums on each head and 6 heads on the machine, 12 bars in each drum. This is our transfer. That's where the cotton actually blows up through. You see I got about a half stop up here on that. Try to keep those clean. If that's left alone and builds up enough, it can cause a fire and cause this machine to catch fire. So, as the cotton blows up into the red chute you see up top, blows back into what we call the module chamber. This Y-shaped looking beam with a cross on it actually works up and down with this cylinder, and that's what does the packing. The augers are in the middle, they're turning, bringing cotton forward and backwards, whichever where it needs it, and then that just tromps as it needs to according to the pressure and the hydraulic flow that it senses. This is grease here. This is a spindle grease that's in this tank right here. That's for lubing the bars and the spindles. Keeps everything in good shape, good working order. So the door in the back, I'll show you this when we get one loaded. This door actually swing out, the top part will come down, and then I'll open up, and then I can hit a button and it'll start augering and rolling everything out, and that's how we'll unload it. So,
how long does it take to get a full?
We should be able to get about probably 20 minutes. We should be full, 25, according to how good the cotton is.
What's spinning here on the back?
This is a radiator screen that actually keeps the trash out. It's got a brush on it that knocks most of the big trash off, and then the radiator's up in front toward the engine.
So the stalk and everything stays up?
Yep, stalk stuff stays up. You'll have some, this is called hard lock cotton. You can't hardly get that out. It'll string some of it out like this. Old timers will call that goose picking it. Just leaving a mess. It's basically what they'll say. Most of the good stuff, it'll clear right out, and that's what you want it to look like when it's done. Good, clean, nice clean bowl of cotton.
Both hands. You don't miss a beat. Okay.
What's your name?
Inez.
Inez, how old are you?
92.
92. I guess you've done this before.
Yeah, not a whole lot lately, but back when I was a kid, I did.
Okay, we were talking to you earlier out in the cotton field. Tell everybody your name.
My name is Nancy Kimbrough.
And that was your mother, the 92-year-old, right?
That was my mom.
Tell me a little bit about her.
Well, I was born in 1937, so she and I grew up together. We've been picking cotton for a lot of years until the big cotton pickers machines came along and stole our thunder.
And it's a good thunder that they stole, because it's amazing how that's a pretty hard job.
Yes, it is a hard job, but it teaches you a lot of stick-to-itiveness. You got to pick cotton in order to be able to provide for your family. In those years, now we watch the cotton picker do it, but by learning to do all these basic things that kept us going, made us sort of tough, and Mom is tough.
Tell me a little bit about her.
She was born in 1920, the year that the women got the right to vote, which was ratified by Tennessee as the last state to ratify that amendment. So I remember her birthday by 1920, and she's been on her own since I was 16. So she's a tough lady. She loves to be involved, and she stays active and lives by herself, takes care of her own personal needs. So she's an inspiration to everybody that knows her, whether it's grandchildren or great-grandchildren, and she has great-great-grandchildren.
She said she had a cane, but when she got out in the cotton field, she didn't need the cane.
Oh, she forgets that she needs the cane when she gets out there and picking cotton or anything else that she likes to do. She forgets that she's limited, which is what we all should forget, our limitations, and focus on what we can do and what we do have instead of what we can't do and don't have.
It's nice to see you, and this is a great day here in Vantown. I know you got to be proud.
She has been to every 5 events that they've had these 5 years picking cotton, and she really enjoys it. She may complain when she gets home, but she's not complaining here.
Marie Shepherd Ogle, tell me a little bit about
It's Ogle Shepherd.
Marie Ogle Shepherd. You've done this before, probably in this very field.
Woo, yes, probably so. That's where I lived, right behind us, right behind you.
So you grew up right there, and was this a cotton field when you was younger?
Yeah, at times, yes. At times it was a cornfield. And the pasture where we had our cow was right there. I moved here when I was 6 years old, and there wasn't a bridge across the creek at that time. They had to walk a foot log. And back here in the corner, there was another foot log where I could walk across the pasture and walk the foot log and go to the next road and catch the bus to go to high school. That was my first time to ever ride a bus. Up until then, I walked every day. And one of my classmates told me I walked like a snake from one side of the road to the other. But I got there.
Seen a lot of changes in your
I
lifetime.
most certainly have. I've seen a lot of them. And most of them has been for the better.
Your parents would be amazed at seeing how far things have come.
Oh, they couldn't believe it.
We used to wish for a cotton picker.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know there wasn't any cotton pickers back. We didn't have one or never dreamed of one.
Thomas Earl Hudson and Joe Tom was the first people that had a cotton picking machine in Clemson.
Well, Daddy was the first one around here. He had a one-row picker. And I guess it's still down there somewhere behind what used to be the barn. I don't know, I haven't seen it.
I was born the year that the women got to start voting, 1920. Then I've seen all the changes from then on, all these changes that's happened. So I feel like
What's some of the ones you remember? It's a big deal, ain't it?
well, from then on, the Great Depression,
Oh, yeah.
and then the World War II, and then all the things that's happened since.
Why did y'all come to Lincoln County?
I'm glad that I was raised up in the time that I was.
Amen to
I
that.
learned a lot about a whole lot of things,
We've seen a lot of changes.
a lot of changes.
Why did y'all come to Lincoln
But I'm
County?
thankful for all that I have learned and been through all those years. It's been rough, and yet it's been a good time. Thank you.
Okay.
Jimmy, tell me about what you're doing today.
Picking cotton. When I was 10 years old, I started picking cotton. We didn't quit till we come home from MTSU on the weekends and go to the cotton field and pick cotton.
Tell me about your bag there.
This is an old-timey cotton bag. We call them cotton sacks. Tried to get 100 pounds in them. They gave us about $2 to pick 100 pounds of cotton. Sometimes they gave us $1. At the last of the cotton season, we pulled bows, just put them all in the bag, and that was great time. We didn't have to worry about pulling it out of these little bows, just pull the whole bag off. It was great times though. In the early 60s, Nancy Kimbrough, the woman you talked over here, that was the daughter of Aunt Inez Holcomb, and named Daniel. We was out in the cotton field one day, and here come her boyfriend. He was in the Air Force, and they flew the airplane over the field and waved at her. We couldn't believe it. We was picking cotton, and he was flying up in the air in a big airplane. I think that's what gave my brother an ideal. He wanted to become a helicopter pilot and an airplane pilot. Great times, though, great times. The only thing, when you got to one end of the road, you turn right around and go back to the other one. They seem like they're 100 miles long.
Okay, we caught up with David Ogle. David, heard you had a birthday yesterday.
I did. I'm a big 58.
You've seen a lot of changes, and I know your father would be really happy about today.
Oh, he would. I wished he could see all this irrigation and these big pickers and stuff now. Things have changed a lot.
I talked to Josh a little bit earlier about the irrigation and what that's done for farming, and it's done a lot.
Yes, it has. That's best insurance you can have is, where you can put water on it when you need to. So it's really been a blessing to us, the irrigation has.
How's cotton looking this year?
Well, so far it's been really good. We picked anywhere from about 1,000 pound up to 1,500 so far. I don't know that it's all going to average that, but it's been really good.
You got a young up and coming farmer here?
Yeah, this is number 8. This my grandchildren. So he's a papa's boy. So
Tell me a little bit about the Ogles. How many of them were they? What of y'all?
there was 11 children, and 9 still living. 8 boys. There was 8 boys and 3 girls. So I'm number 10.
Ann had a birthday.
Ann's got a birthday today. She's 10 years older than me. So mine was yesterday and hers today.
Well, it's good to see you, and it's great what y'all are doing here for the community. It's just going to be a great day, and technology, unbelievable where the cotton pickers have come.
Oh, yeah, they've really came a long way, and the people are such a blessing. We got a good turnout, and folks are really nice, and we're proud they came, and hope everybody enjoys themselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Marie, your shirt says we're having, turn around here and look at the camera. It says you're having a cotton picking good time. We got to see you picking some cotton, and that's a nice shirt.
Thank you. They gave it to me last year.
Well, you deserve one, being an Ogle, and you had
Old one, the old one.
are you the oldest?
I am.
Okay, let's tell everybody how many there were and that kind of thing.
I'm the oldest of 11, and I have David, Carol, and Ann. That's all I've seen. Maybe more of them here, but we still have 6 boys and 3 girls.
And
They're dead.
okay, all right. And your parents, we mentioned, lived right across the road there. again, we've talked about all the changes, and it's interesting to go back and look at do things the way that you used to do them.
Well, the first history I know about this house, Mr. Abel Pendergrass came with my granddaddy and Mr. Sam Gray and Sam Sanders. They all came from Albertville, Alabama, and settled in this area. And Mr. Pendergrass lost this place. My granddaddy bought it, and then my daddy bought it from him. And that was in 1936. They first came here in 1919. And so this farm, I guess, will stay in the Ogle family as long as there's an Ogle, or one of the descendants.
Well, it's good to see you today, and it's a great day for the Ogles. It's a great day for our community, for Fayetteville, Lincoln County.
Thank you.
Tell me what happens to it now, Josh.
Well, we'll leave it here now. There's about 6 bales in this module, and it'll stay here probably through the evening, possibly tomorrow to be picked up by the cotton gin. They've got their trucks they'll come out and pick it up with. So.
Talk about what happens when it gets to the cotton gin.
Once they get to the gin, you see a lot of the leaf and the trash that's on it here on the outside, and some of the burrs that's in it, some of this and all the things here that's in it. It'll actually clean it out and clean it up, make it a lot cleaner, and it'll be more along this line. They'll pull the seed out as well. And I'll pull this off. The seed is inside the lint, as you can see right here. That's one cotton seed, and that'll actually be what'll be planted next year in some areas. That'll be harvested for the actual seed.
What else would it do with the seed?
The seed will be a lot of times fed whole to cattle and some other livestock, and then they'll also take and crush that, get the oil content out of it, do some meal with it, get cottonseed meal out of it, or cottonseed hulls as a fiber product, as a byproduct. So.
Okay, we got Dr. Ferris Beasley here, and I guess you've seen this done firsthand a few years ago.
A few times, yeah. I was actually raised in Petersburg. That's tobacco country, and I didn't ever do any cotton. And of course, the cotton people down here south of 64 have never done tobacco. So, but anyway, years ago, I remember when I first came here, I came out to Mr. Ogle's place. That's his home place right over there. Came out here on a Sunday afternoon, and he had a cow down. And he had 8 or 10 children, and they were in a circle around this cow in the barn lot, and they were like stair steps, and she was down, and I'm fixing to start treating this cow in front of these 10 little children. I think that's a family cow that they got milk from. I said a silent prayer. Lord, please don't let this cow die while I'm treating in front of all these little children. So anyway, I got some neat memories out here. Ogles are a great family. And you think about today, pretty day like today, they're trying to plant wheat in Kelso. I think they're cutting beans somewhere else, and the cotton pickers need to go because the rain's coming, and he takes time off to put something on like this. That's pretty neat.
It is neat. There's a lot of people here, and I think this is a 5-year tradition, and knowing them, they're going to do it for a long time to come.
They will, and they do it right. And you see that you've covered some of the older people out there that did this when they were really children. It kind of touches your heart, and there too, because it brings back so many memories.
You've seen a lot of technology change over the years, and to the better. I mean, no doubt the way they're doing it today is so much better.
Oh, goodness. Everything's changed. Everything's different. And that cotton picker, and of course, the dollar figure on it, $400,000 or $500,000. And he can walk through a cotton field pretty fast. It's what you're dealing with today.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. And it's a good thing. And I know the way we used to do it was a sort of a laid back, and that was as bad as some of them talked about how long the rows were and all that. That was some good times too, though.
It was. And then, they had the cotton vacation in school. I think they took off a solid month, and all the schools closed, and the children went and picked cotton, either their own cotton or neighbors' cotton. And that was part of their life. And you can just imagine the memories are coming back here today. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all you've done over the years in agriculture, and thank you for coming today.
Thanks, Don. Enjoyed it.
Thank you. Josh Ogle, it's been a great day. Man, I tell you, appreciate the food. Appreciate you letting us come out to show the folks at home a little bit about cotton.
Yeah, it's been a good day, but nice overcast weather. Didn't get too hot, and a good breeze blowing, so it feels good outside.
It does. When we're looking at cotton, let's talk about when do you plant it? About what time?
We'll normally plant around the 1st of April, 10th of April, somewhere in that time frame. Try to be done by the 20th of May. And we have planted in the first part of June, but that's not really ideal. So really about that good springtime planting, really any time after the 1st of April when it warms up.
We're in late October when we're shooting this day. When do you start picking, and when do you think you'll finish up?
We like to start picking after the 1st of October. Normally that means you've got a little better crop. Sometimes it's just later, but a year like this year, we've got a pretty good crop out in the field, looks like, above average, so we're excited about that. And should finish up, we're hoping to finish up by Thanksgiving. That's always a goal. A lot of times that don't get reached, but we're thinking maybe this year we've got a shot at it. So
there's a lot of things that factor in. You're looking at the rain coming in, and what other factors are you looking at?
Well, you just look at rain coming in is going to be the big thing we worry about. How late in the day can you run? How early can you start? We have to wait for the dew to come off in the morning, so that's this time of year before the time changes, about 10 o'clock. And a lot of times at night, dews fell by 7 o'clock in the evening, so hour and a half after dark, we're having to shut down a lot of times. So if we can get some cloudy weather and windy weather to keep that dew off and give us some early start times, it'll speed us up a lot. So.
All right. Look at all of the cotton that you have. You got a lot of cotton. How do you keep up with all that?
Well, we just try to keep good records in the office. I've got my mom and my wife in office all the time, and we've actually got my sister-in-law works for us full-time, keeping up with books. So we've got a lot of records that we have to roll through, and they're all constantly doing paperwork and keeping things updated. We have to go to the FSA office and report things, keep up with stuff for crop insurance. So all that plays a factor, and when you do it, I guess you get it as long as we have, you get into a routine of how things work, and you kind of learn from year to year what you're going to do. So that helps too.
I'm sure we're less than a mile or so, would you say, from the Alabama line? I guess you got cotton on both sides of the line.
We do. We actually moved the picker this morning from Madison County, Alabama, just about 2 miles away, and moved it up to this side here in Lincoln County. We'll farm some in Franklin County, Tennessee as well. And we'll go as far west as just the other side of 431 down in Madison County, other side of Hazel Green. So we're spread out pretty good.
Where does most of the cotton go? What does it wind up? Tell the folks at home what do we do? What all they do with it?
Most of it, after it's ginned up here, most of ours comes through Elor gin. After it's ginned, it's and processed, it's sent off to the shipyards. A lot of it goes to North Carolina and gets shipped out there. Some, I think, maybe goes to Memphis and possibly even south to the Gulf. But a lot of it goes over to the eastern seaboard and is shipped over to some of the spinning mills and things in China and places like that. The mills in the United States are about non-existent anymore. There's still some around, but there's not many like there used to be. So,
Well, when we've been talking cotton all day, and when we're talking about D&J River Farms, tell us all who that is. I guess that's David and Josh.
David and Josh Ogle, and then of course my mom, Sherry Ogle, my wife Juliana. We're all 4 equal partners, so we all share equal interest in the farm and equal workload. Mom does a lot of paperwork through FSA, and Dad handles a lot of the projects we have going on, any kind of irrigation that we're building or any kind of drainage we're doing. He takes care of that. I handle the day-to-day operations of the farm, a lot of the repairs on the equipment. I take care of that. My wife handles the bookwork, so it's all an equal load. Just because one's not out in the field don't mean they got the same headache. So.
A lot of Ogles there working, and that's important, I'm sure.
It is.
And I guess you got a few employees too.
We do. We have 3 full-time employees, and we've got 3 or 4 usually part-time folks that we keep on hand just to kind of help move things around and keep things going. Certain times of the year we may hire another part-time man or so, but 3 full-time all the time. So.
What else you do besides cotton?
We do corn, soybeans, and wheat. We're in the process, just started planting wheat this morning, and so we've got about 1,600 acres of wheat to plant, and that'll hopefully in about 2 weeks' time we'll have that done. And then corn harvest is complete. We did complete that a couple of days ago. Bean harvest will start here probably in about 10 days. We're still a little time off from that, so that'll allow us to get our cotton picked, a lot of it done before then. So,
is your concept of being through by Thanksgiving really? Are you through by Christmas?
We should be through by Christmas, yeah. We normally try to give the boys a little day or 2 off around Christmas time, and normally, if everything works, we get a week or 2 off there around the Christmas time, first of the year, and that gives everybody a much-needed break, and we don't want to see each other for a week or so anyways. We get tired of it, so.
Well, it was just a few weeks ago. We were less than a mile from here at your house when you received the Young Farmer Award and got the tractor. Have you used the tractor yet?
Well, we haven't. That was actually brought out just for presentation purposes. The one that they've got for us will be here in February. So, but we're looking forward to that. I can't wait. So that's going to be fun.
All right. Well, congratulations on what you've done today. Congratulations on being a young farmer, and wish you luck in the future. And hope to maybe invite me back out next year. Got some good food too, so I appreciate it.
Sounds great, Don.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you, Don.
Yeah.
Anytime.